I can say the right words and everything, but I do not have it. I just don't have it together. But I know what the right answer is, even though my heart hasn't caught up with my head. But I know that it's like taking your thoughts captive to Jesus Christ.
Miss WBU. You won that last year. The second that you got announced as the winner, the room exploded.
It was
with these farm guys.
That honestly made
crazy.
My day.
Yeah.
It made my year. I mean, that was so cool.
So after you won, do you get any special perks throughout the year?
I got
a crown.
When I think of Williams and like why I tell people like to consider coming here, I feel like the staff is so present in your life and so genuine with you. Like, I'm not just another student. My professors know me and they care. I like the close-knit community. I mean, I've made great long-lasting friendships here. I like the family atmosphere that Williams brings, and I think it kind of got displayed at the pageant pretty well. Fear has been my biggest downfall my whole life. I've always been afraid. So when I speak as if I'm not afraid, it's because either A, the Lord has brought me closer like to Him and to trusting Him, and my heart's just changed, or I'm just talking in ways that I hope my heart catches up to one day.
Refreshing.
It's super cliche, but you really do learn more from lessons and tough times than successes.
I mean, you're in a world where you're going to get tested. So if it wasn't in childhood, it'll be later on, and who knows?
Wait, you're looking at me like I'm not even close
No,
to.
you're good. No, I'm looking at you because I'm like, wait, no,
Because you can bleed out in 15 seconds, right? Like, so you got to stop the bleed first.
Yeah,
then you clear the airway.
Yeah.
And then what?
It depends on the patient. I mean, that's the thing about like medicine that I learned is there's A, B does not always equal C. You have to consider all the factors before you make a judgment call.
Okay, smarty pants.
Well, no.
It wasn't a smart answer.
Yeah.
You were just asked a
No,
question.
it was a smart You do have to clear the airway because, I mean, if they can't breathe, they're not going to live. If they're bleeding out, they're not going to live. So, I mean, those are both really important.
This is our longer format podcast. Please make sure you go and follow our show and also give us a 5-star rating and write a review. It would be super helpful, and we'd appreciate it. Let's get into the episode.
Yeah, on Saturday there was a flash flood, and my car was a victim of flash flooding.
That's awful.
Of all things.
That is awful.
Yeah, I wasn't happy.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be either.
But there's nothing I could do about it. I don't control the water.
I have to say my voice sounds very
Scoot up closer to it.
cool.
You guys ready?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, here we go. Treasure, Miss WBU.
Yeah.
You won that last year.
I did.
I was there.
Oh, good.
What do you remember about that night?
I remember being nervous the whole day, and like couldn't eat because I was so nervous. Because I have really bad stage fright.
Mm-hmm.
So even while I was up there, I was like super shaky and stuff. But the night was really fun because my farm guys, they all came, saved seats and everything. And when I won, I mean, they just exploded in the crowd. And it was so, I don't know, that was probably one of my favorite things because none of my family could make it. Something, emergency or something happened, like literally, and everybody that was going to make it. And so I only had them. So, but they made it great. So I loved having them. So
They seem very supportive. The whole farm crew, they're always at events together, supporting each other.
Definitely
cool
family.
Yeah.
Feels like a family thing. So
As much as I think you stole the show last year, I think that everybody remembers how wild that whole group went.
yeah.
The second that the second that you got announced as the winner.
Yeah.
The room exploded.
It was
with these farm guys.
That honestly made my day.
Yeah.
It made my year. I mean, that was so cool. So they actually, I didn't want to do the pageant. It's just not, it wasn't my thing. I don't know. And I was like, what talent am I going to do? I don't have. So they talked me up so hard to do it. They were like, you should do it. It would be awesome. Like, we'd be there. We could rush the stage or something. So they really hyped me up about it. So that was fun.
That's all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad they convinced you to do it because you did a really
too.
great job.
Well, thanks.
Do you skip classes on that Thursday?
Yeah. I mean, everybody's pretty lenient. I mean, I didn't skip class really, and I even went into work, but they had me leave and go get ready and stuff like that. But
Because it's more than just like getting ready for the pageant part. Like you're still doing like interviews with the judges or something.
Yeah. So earlier that day, I mean, you have to get up like business attire and stuff like that, and go in the what's that? The president's suite or something in the caf.
Between
like
the moody room and the cafeteria.
Yes. What's that called?
The president's dining room.
Yeah, we were in the president's suite. Basically, we had to meet with the judges, and they would ask a bunch of questions like, "Why are you doing this? Why are you, and they would ask you stuff about your bio that you had to turn in too. So like they were asking about the farm, they were asking about my extracurriculars, all that kind of stuff. So but they were really nice. It was really sweet. I don't know, it was cool. So we had to do that, and then the interview, and then you have to kind of get unready from the interview and get ready for, and it kind of takes a lot.
Is Thursday the hard day, or is like the whole week? Is it? There's a lot going on that week with rehearsals and dress rehearsals. It
takes a lot out of your schedule a little bit, but I never felt super overwhelmed with it, I don't guess. Most of it, they give you time slots that you can like pick which time is best for you to do like a rehearsal or like a run through or whatever. So it's not like they make you come in at a certain time that might conflict with something else you have. So no, it was pretty chill. We just came in when we were scheduled, and the anticipation was probably the worst.
Yeah.
That was the worst part about the pageant.
What anticipation? How so?
Just like nervousness. Like a lot of girls don't do the pageant because of like talent and stuff like that. And that's just like, I don't know why, but that's like the most nerve-wracking part of the pageant. Maybe because it's like vulnerable to like, a skill or something that you may not be the best at, but it's the only one you got, so you do it. So the anticipation of like doing that in front of like the whole school, that's very nerve-wracking.
Were you nervous before you sang?
Oh yeah.
Really? You did so good.
Well, thanks. I wouldn't consider myself a singer at all, and but it's what I had, and people said I should do it, and I was like, all right, well, did one of my favorite songs. I like a lot of old classics, so I picked something in that realm.
Can you sing a little bit for us right now so Kinsman can hear it?
I cannot. I don't think I can.
Oh, you'll sing in front of hundreds of people, but not two?
It's way worse in front of two people in a room.
Hey, you're among friends here.
I'll just trust it was good.
You sing it, Kinsman.
I'm sure it was. Well, see, I don't know what song it was. Otherwise, I would sing it.
Yeah, what song was it again?
Stand By Me.
Yep.
By Benny King. I was actually, I hate listening to the video because I ran out of breath. You can hear me go, like in the mic, like when I was up there. And I like could not get my breath to like go high on the high notes and stuff like that. And I was like, well, that was awful. Glad it's done. Let's move on to the dress. The fun part.
On the scoring stuff, how important is the talent?
I mean, so the interview is actually a part of the scoring as well. So your interview is important. I mean, I think everything's kind of important. I think the way you answer questions and stuff like that.
Can you tell us what they asked you in those interviews? Or is that like secret knowledge?
No, it's not secret.
They can't like if you share here, then all the people can start studying.
Like this mic's going to explode.
Well, that. But freshmen who have never been through the process before, they might start preparing now and cheating by listening to this episode.
Yeah, for sure. So it's just like whatever you put on your bio. So like my favorite scripture, it was a Lamentations scripture, and it they asked me about that. They had me, what is that? So if you don't know the scripture you put down, well, you might get looks for that. But so you kind of explain, why'd you pick that scripture? I explained the farm. They asked like why I wanted to do the pageant, and I was like, at first I was like, well, it's kind of a bucket list thing. Like, might as well do a pageant while I'm in college. I don't think I'll ever be able to like do a pageant in my life again. So if I want to try, I might as well do it now. And then I was just super honest with them. I was like, and honestly, I'm like dirty all the time because of the farm, and I just never feel like a girl. Like, get to put on makeup and like nice clothes and stuff. And I just want to do that. Like, I just want to be girly for a little bit. So that was my super honest answer I gave to the judges. So I guess they appreciated that.
Well, that's that's not a bad answer at all.
I would say be genuine, because they can kind of tell if you're doing a business, like, kind of, if you're acting like it's an interview. They can. I feel like the judges can tell, and
I think everybody can tell.
Yeah.
We call it podcast voice in here when it sounds like you're performing to try to sound good, but versus just being what people know you as and like being authentic.
Yeah.
And so it's really easy to slip into like, what's up, everybody? Listen to me talk how much I know.
Yeah.
But in reality, if you just talk about, like, I think my voice sounds high pitched, to be honest with you, and I don't like listening back to myself. I will listen back, but I don't sound the same that I think I sound.
But sometimes, like, when you're trying to perform, like, even if you're trying to be natural, something about just like something about it changes even if you don't try to, and that's why it's hard to talk like during interviews or whatever for some reason.
Yeah, you get like the when your mom gets on a phone call and her voice immediately goes like higher than even normally. I feel like that happens to everybody. Like you put on a little bit. Don't do that. The judges don't like it.
So after you won, do you get any special perks throughout the year?
I got
a crown.
Yeah, I like my crown. It's pretty.
You get a cut in line in the calf whenever you want, something like that?
Front row parking.
I do remember getting swarmed with like queen, princess, like stuff like that.
Like the word people start calling you that?
Like people would be
no way.
Hello, my queen, and like so I'm like,
well, you are our queen right now. So
oh gosh, hi. I remember in the lunch line they're like, my queen. I'm like, okay, that's not necessary. Like, y'all know. Okay, that's great. And so it was. I don't know. It made me feel very special. It was super cool.
You do like special speaking engagements, right?
Yeah, and you get to do like events in the community. We're actually working, so if the weather doesn't interfere, I'm actually going to go to the Randolph nursing home. They have a Valentine's Day pageant for the ladies at the nursing home, and I'm going to help with that as Miss WBU. And stuff like that, and stuff I was already involved in, I'm getting to like give a platform to as Miss WBU, so that's kind of be the theme of my speech, because I have to give a speech at this year's pageant.
Okay.
About like, what has it been like, what did I do with it, and
did
stuff
you
like
give
that.
a speech at the True Blue dinner? I can't remember if you did or not.
No, I gave a speech at, they had me do
the
y'all's
Walk?
freshman. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it. So I had to do that. I don't know, they'll just ask you to do random things in the name of Miss WBU.
Yeah.
So,
do you have a script for that, or do you just kind of speak from the heart whenever that happens?
That speech I wrote myself, and I just sent it. I said, "Is this okay?" And they approved it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what does Williams mean to you, Miss WBU?
What does Williams mean to me? Well, when I think of Williams and like why I tell people like to consider coming here or whatever, I feel like the staff is so present in your life and so genuine with you. Like, I'm not just another student. Like, my professors know me and they care. I like the close-knit community. I've made great long-lasting friendships and, here, which I know you can get at like other colleges, but I like the family atmosphere that Williams brings, and I think it kind of got displayed at the pageant pretty well. So I guess that's what Williams means to me, is like just somewhere I can grow in my education and get ready for the adult world, like in a family type atmosphere. So
when you say at the pageant, do you mean like behind the scenes, like during like getting things ready and dress rehearsals and all that?
Oh, I mean, like,
is it competitive back there, or is it like sisterhood?
No, it's super. Everybody's hyping each other up.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's super. Yeah, it's not catty or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's really nice. All the girls are super, and they're honest too. Like, if something looks bad or if you miss a note or like whatever, they'll tell you, so you don't do that on stage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty. It really was a great experience. It was just my nervousness of being on stage got me.
Yeah.
That got me pretty good. So,
I absolutely hate public speaking as well. So
yeah.
I can totally relate.
The mic starts like shaking in my hand and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. What do you win if you get the crown?
$500.
Oh, not like a scholarship or like cash?
No, like you get it, like it's a check.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Well, that's a pretty good incentive.
No doubt.
Oh, yeah. No, that was, and I was, which it didn't work out this way, but I was going to go to the Philippines that summer and do some agricultural mission work with the IMB, and the $500 would have really helped me. So that was another thing. I was like, well, I could get money for that if I somehow, because even if you get, like, I think if you get like runner-up or second runner-up, you get money too.
Oh, yeah.
It's just not as much, but you get like $200 or something.
So did you do that? Or sorry, you were gonna ask something, Kinsman?
That was exactly what I was gonna ask. So you didn't end up going to the Philippines?
I didn't. It worked out where I needed to be a little responsible since I'm, a senior this year, and it was kind of getting to be a lot of money because I'm in the Williams Works program. If I work during the summer, it pays for my room and board. So if I was gone half the summer, it would be like I would be paying for the trip and my room and board on top of that. And so it was just a lot, and I just don't really have the money to do that, and I know the Lord will give me another opportunity if that's where he wants me to go. So kind of just prayed about that and lift that up. Door kind of shut, so
yeah.
Did you do Williams Works every summer you've been here?
Almost, except I left. So I came in for pre-nursing, and I left because I had done all the classes I could do here in a year instead of 2. And I didn't know that until a month before I got out of school here. And I was like, oh, no, what am I going to do? I haven't applied to nursing programs or anything like that. And I was kind of freaking out. And
yeah.
I follow this platform called Voice of the Martyrs. And they just, it's a Christian organization. It tells you about, different martyrs of the faith. And John Chow was one of them. And to get ready to be like a missionary and stuff, he did linguistics and he did like EMT. He got his EMT license, and I was like, well, I'll just go do that. So I went down the Black River and I got my EMT, emergency medical technician license, and I did that. So I wasn't here to I wasn't going to school here to work that summer in the works program. But then when I came back, I've worked every summer since, and I'll work half of this summer only because I graduate in the fall, so I don't need the whole summer. So, yeah. So
this next fall is your last semester.
Mm-hmm.
What's that feel like?
It's scary a little bit, but exciting. Like, I'm excited to see what I'm going to end up doing, but that's the problem. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. So, lots of anxiousness, lots of, it's tempted to feel like you don't want to make the wrong move.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can, like with the Lord, I feel like he leads you. Obviously you can't make the wrong move if you're doing something crazy.
Sure.
But you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
How do you deal with that feeling of uncertainty? Because I know I've definitely struggled with that from my, gap between high school and college, and even now with my future, like that's definitely something that I've been, dealing with. So how do you deal with that?
Yeah. I'm still learning how to deal with that, but there's actually this verse in Proverbs, and it says, man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps. And so, like, I think it's okay to, like, plan and be like, okay, well, this is an option, like, I can do after college or whatever, but if you, I think the Lord will guide you somewhere else. I think really it's also in Matthew 6, he talks about, he's like, don't worry about tomorrow. The day has enough trouble of its own. So it's kind of like keeping yourself, this is making me anxious, but I'm not even called to worry about something that far ahead. I got something going on right now that I can glorify the Lord in, so let me focus on that.
Yeah. It's easy to know that verse.
Oh yeah.
But actually act on it and, actually trust the Lord is definitely a totally different thing. I
was telling the Lord last night, I was like, you are literally trustworthy. Like, that is your character, but I can't even trust you. So, like, I know it's a me thing, and I think it's a steady walk with the Lord. Like, as you walk with the Lord, you'll learn and you'll, like, grow in trusting him, but he's faithful even when we're faithless. So that's a hope-filled thing that even when we don't trust him, he's not just going to drop us, you know?
Yeah.
He's still there. So, yeah.
And learning that lesson, I think, is hard because you assume that you're going to be progressing in the right direction, and almost to like the American dream kind of way, where you're going to take the right job, you're going to have the right marriage, you're going to have the right kids, you're going to have the right financial success, you're going to have the right influence that you want, the right amount of responsibility. You're going to have all those things line up, and along that way, God will teach you the way he wants to teach you. But the reality is, like if you look at King David, he was a shepherd boy who gets the blessing of God to become the king. And what happens next? The school of God for him was running for his life for a decade, being chased by a madman in King Saul, with spears being thrown at him, living in caves. And so that is not what most people would look at and say, that's a guy who loves God and follows him well. You would almost look at that guy and be like, what's he doing wrong to demand this kind of cursing?
Yeah, and he was kind of a wreck
of
a person.
Yeah.
But
man, so many flaws.
Yeah.
Even after his life was no longer in danger and he was living a dream life, so to speak.
Yeah.
And following God, still had incredibly, like, what we would look at and say, that's a big sin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Lord says he's still... King David is a man after God's own heart. The Bible says that. So, like, when thinking about that and then thinking about how much of a, like, he's failed in so many ways, it's, like, okay, well, how is that happening, you know?
Right. And in ways that we almost consider unforgivable.
Yeah.
Like the Christian church today would look at and say, yeah, you can't really come back from that.
Yeah.
And I think that just goes to prove that, Jesus had not yet come to the earth, but David was solely relying on God's grace and mercy and the future sacrifice that was coming through Jesus. So, that's the only way you can say he was a man after God's own heart, is because he did not trust in himself.
Yeah.
And it wasn't his own strength. It wasn't his own power. But they say, whoever they are, that the millennial generation has it the best because we had to work hard without cell phones and social media to compare ourselves to other people. And then we also had like the benefits of the different success that came before us in the financial establishment and the economy. We've just had a good life.
Yeah.
But they say that that you guys who are in your 18 to 22, 23, tend to have a little bit more fear of taking risks, fear of the future, fear of financial instability. What you were saying about what's coming next and how you're not fearful, it just sounds like you walk with God. And it doesn't sound like you're following the way of most people that are described as, again, I hate being that guy who's like, those people, and that's what they say.
No, yeah.
But I mean, I experienced that too to an extent. Like, I want a stable future. Like, I want my wife and child to be taken care of and provided for and not have to deal with unnecessary hardship. Like, I want that.
Yeah.
And it's, I didn't know how, I didn't see that as like a big value when I was 18 through 22. But now it's a huge deal to me, and life still has like bumps and bruises with it. But anyways, how do you guys navigate that?
You or me?
You go for it first. Oh.
Okay. Well, so I definitely, I can say the right words and everything, but I do not have it. I just don't have it together, but I know what the right answer is, even though my heart hasn't caught up with my head. But I know that it's like taking your thoughts captive to Jesus Christ. And that even is hard to do because sometimes you want the emotion or the motivation to take your thoughts captive too. So it's just kind of I feel like the Lord's teaching me a denying of self kind of thing, which he's teaching his church and stuff. I honestly, navigating it, I think, and I was talking to my mama about it. She was like, are you scared and stuff of what's going to happen? Because not to get into that, but
we can totally get into it. This is where we can get into it.
Well, my home life wasn't like the American dream. it's hard when you don't know the future, especially if you're like controlling. Like, I want to be in control. And I think that's why I have trouble trusting God, because I want to know what's going to happen. So what was the question?
Just
how do we navigate through that?
Yeah.
How do we navigate?
Yeah.
I honestly don't know. I'm working it out. I try, I want to trust the Lord. I want to walk with him. I want to say that I'm not afraid, but the thing is, fear has been my biggest downfall my whole life. I've always been afraid. So when I speak as if I'm not afraid, it's because either A, the Lord has brought me closer like to him and to trusting him, and my heart's just changed, or I'm just talking in ways that I hope my heart catches up to one day. Like, yeah, that's how I navigate, is just trying to look to him, seek him first. That's like the only real way to not be overwhelmed by unknowns or uncertainty, I guess. So.
Well, thank you for sharing. I think that's a really great answer.
You're welcome.
Kinsman, hop in there. Go ahead.
How do I navigate? Man, I think I'm kind of along your lines, but it's just when people try to trust their own wisdom and their own judgment, I feel like ultimately it's not going to work out. And when you rely on the Lord, and even if so sometimes like you'll make your own decisions, but if you're in the Lord and you're, I guess you're relying on him and you're trying to make a decision that's best for you, and not looking out for your own self-interest, then that's probably, you're in the Lord's will, and that's a good decision to make. But I have not had to, like, I've grown up in a very comfortable Christian home. I've not had to make really tough decisions myself. I've not had to do many things myself. I've had really good parents and really good guidance. So I think I can't really speak from as much experience. And I will say, the Fields of Faith, is that what we called it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
I went to
you were
that.
there, weren't
I
you?
did. I was.
Oh.
And I heard your testimony. It was really, really powerful.
Well.
And so I think I would definitely listen to Treasure when she says she's trusting the Lord, because I think she's definitely had to rely on him and been tested more than I have. So.
Well, perhaps. I don't know.
But no, I don't have a good answer. So.
Yeah. And this isn't to diminish your experience at all, but to say like that testing does like provide character, and the harder path in life does often produce greater resilience and independence and trust. I wouldn't wish that on anybody, but when you're forced to trust more, you can either, grow embittered and angry and resentful, or you can grow more trusting, more faithful, more reliant, more grateful.
Yeah.
My point is, I think you are right, Kinsman, that I trust when Treasure speaks. So yeah.
Well, it's
really refreshing.
It's super cliche, but you really do learn more from lessons and tough times than successes.
I mean, yeah, and the Bible talks about that for sure. Like, testing by fire, suffering produces perseverance, character, like you said. But I always, I get that a lot. Like, people will hear me, or I'll hear other people that had it like, crazy life stories and stuff like that. And it's tempting to like diminish your own and feel less, like almost not as close to God, because you didn't have to like cry with him as much, I guess. But don't diminish, because honestly, it wasn't until I was really like discipled by the family that took me in, and discipled by my mama and eventually my mom. My dad's still not a believer, so anybody listening, please pray for him. But it wasn't until I got really discipled and the guidance, like you were talking about, your parents give you, that that's when I really started growing even more in my faith. And so I think there's something really awesome to be said about growing up in a stable home. And I mean, you're in a world where you're going to get tested. So if it wasn't in childhood, it'll be later on, and who knows, like, but we just live in that kind of like sinful world. So, and I mean, you still, even if you have like a pretty peaceful life or whatever, we're all sinners in need of a savior. You still have to make that decision to follow the guidance or not. So I don't know, don't diminish your own story or walk with the Lord, because it's just, we're all on the same playing field. We all need him just as much as the next person. So I guess that would be my comment on the subject.
Yeah.
So
when you hear a testimony like from an ex-criminal, drug addict, whatever, a super crazy testimony.
And you're like, oh my gosh.
I murdered somebody every day for 10 years and then like, came to Jesus. Yeah.
But that almost makes people with like a super, I don't want to say ordinary, but like, it is more ordinary, salvation or whatever. Yeah. It almost makes me feel less than, but I think it's important also to realize that
I feel that way too. So you're not alone. And
there was a good saying, I forgot what it was like. It was some like, I wouldn't trade all the scars from my past sins for, I can't recall it, but basically saying you have just as powerful of a testimony from not falling into these crazy sins than someone who has a powerful testimony. But that doesn't take away from theirs either, because they can reach people who have been through the same thing that they have as well. But
yeah,
good stuff.
It is good stuff. Hey, I like talking about this too, especially with you in here, Treasure. This is really fun.
Thanks.
I think I first heard your story like 4 years ago, maybe. Probably at our dining table.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking like, this girl loves Jesus, and so
that's encouraging.
Yeah. So after, what are you majoring in now?
Christian ministries now.
Okay. And you have your EMT certification? And you still have your nursing classes?
No, so I'm...
Or you had them, but like you could pick up on that program if you wanted to? I
did my prerequisites here, and I was going to go in. I mean, I have anatomy and physiology and medical terminology, stuff like that. But I got my EMT license, and then I did the national registry, which is like the test so you can work in Arkansas. And I work at ProMed in Pocahontas part-time. Yeah. I actually saw, he probably doesn't remember. Do you? I saw you at the gas station out in Bono.
I was about to say, this is going to be a HIPAA violation.
No HIPAA violations.
No, I'm kidding.
No,
I came into the ER a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I worked on Kinsman. No. I saw him at a gas station, and I was coming out of my ambulance, and I was like, oh, I think that's like a freshman at school or something, because I didn't know your name at the time. And I was like, ooh, he's probably mega confused why I'm the one in the ambulance right now. But obviously not. You don't remember. But
I do not remember seeing that. No.
Okay, good.
You brought that up the other day. No, I'm kidding.
What?
You didn't. No.
Liar.
He still talks about it now. No.
Yeah, so I do. I work up there.
Okay.
So do you... What is your job like? So you're in the ambulance, or like do you respond to? Yeah,
911 dispatch or transfers from the hospital.
You drive it?
I do.
No.
I do drive the ambulance.
How old do you have to be to drive an ambulance?
What's the fastest you've driven it?
Okay, breaking the rumors right now. You can't drive that fast. Here's why. I know y'all are looking at me like I'm saying you can't.
You're lying, but keep going.
I'm not lying. I mean,
She likes to cut it as close of a call as possible.
Yep. You can get it up to 80. That's your max, or else it'll start dinging at you. Because think about it.
So do seatbelts, but that doesn't make me put one on every day.
Okay. I mean, if it's like, so in my biggest emergencies, I was actually a student, so I wasn't driving. So I haven't had like an emergency, like a mass casualty or anything while I'm driving. So maybe I'd go faster. I don't know. But you can't, because think about it. You got a hospital room, basically, in the back of a truck. So if you turn, I mean, if you tilt the wrong way once, I mean, you and tumble. Like, that would be awful.
Yeah.
Aerodynamics. Aerodynamics are no bueno on the truck. So, like
a moving billboard.
Yeah, basically.
Especially in these flatlands.
With oxygen tanks in the back, dude, we'd blow up. You cannot go that fast.
I've heard that's the number one thing that ambulances use is oxygen.
Yeah.
That's wild to me.
Why?
Well, I mean, you would just think, no, it's actually like a tourniquet or like a heart restarter, whatever they're called.
Yeah, an AED.
That's what I said.
Because a lot of, especially around here in a low call area, I mean, you get patients that, I mean, there's not super serious. Like, we're not in a war zone, so we don't need, there's like not arterial bleeds, you know, like
sure, okay, makes
constant.
sense.
So you don't use a tourniquet. I've actually never put a tourniquet on a living person yet, so haven't had to do that.
Well, it makes me feel better about
for everything.
There's a time. Yeah, so oxygen.
Oh, I definitely feel safer in here now. Like if the roof were to collapse with all this snow or something, that you would save our lives.
Well, I tried.
Stop the bleed, clear the airway, and then what? Wait, I'm getting. You're looking at me like I'm not even close.
No, you're good. No, I'm looking at you because I'm like, wait, no, you're.
Because you can bleed out in 15 seconds, right? Like, so you got to stop the bleed first.
Yeah,
then you clear the airway.
Yeah.
And then what?
So.
Then get him to the
hospital.
It
depends on the. It depends on the patient. I mean, that's the thing about like medicine that I learned is you can't. There's A/B does not always equal C. Like you have to like have so many. You have to consider all the factors before you make a judgment.
Okay, smarty pants.
Well, no.
It wasn't a smart answer.
Yeah.
You were just asked a dumb question.
It was a smart. You do have to clear the airway because I mean, if they can't breathe, they're not gonna live. If they're bleeding out, they're not gonna live. So I mean, those are both really important.
Have y'all heard the comedian Aaron Weber?
It sounds familiar.
He talks about how he hates going to the doctors because you sit down in their office and they have all these degrees behind them. Like, I'm a doctor, I know everything.
Yeah.
But when you go to an urgent care, it's like, hey, give us $40 and we'll spend the day with you trying to figure out what you have going on. We don't have any better idea than you do. But I'm like, where do ambulance drivers and EMTs fit into that? Because it seems like y'all know how to stop anything from happening bad. Like, you know how to get them to stay alive. Stable. To the hospital.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the job. Which I am the lowest food chain medical provider. I am
your driver.
BLS, that is basic life support. I can do basic stuff. EMTs can't do anything like invasive, like IVs. I can't give IVs or anything like that. So.
Oh, I didn't know that.
A paramedic, you can do that if you're a paramedic, or if you're an advanced EMT. I think you can. I don't know, but. No, I couldn't like totally save your life, but if you cardiac arrest or bleeding out or something like that, I could help. Yep. I could help.
So your degree?
Yes.
Is in Christian ministries?
Yes.
What's the emphasis in?
A Great Commission.
Okay, so dream job with all of your education and certifications combined together, what would it be?
Well, so the answer I gave, which was the true answer, at the pageant last year, because that's actually what I got asked. Because you have to pull from a bowl. Like, you get the questions in advance and you get to prep, but then you pull a random one from the bowl. And have to say it in front of everybody. So that was the question. And so I have always been interested in, like, international affairs, stuff like that. So I've recently been interested in like disaster relief, so my EMT would come in pretty handy. I really admire like Samaritan's Purse. I don't know if y'all have heard of them, but I love what they do. They seem to always be in the middle of the action, even when like the government isn't. Like they were down in North Carolina and Georgia before any aid was sent. You know, they're pretty on top of it. They were in Ukraine, and they just give, relief either medically or they clean up like the debris or something like that, and they do it while being a light for the gospel. And that's ultimately what I want to be. Whatever career I get in, I want it to be used for eternal purposes, not just a career, I guess. But that would probably be, I want to say that would be the dream, but I honestly, especially in recent times with just like the anxiousness of what is going to happen after life, I'm honestly down for anything. Work-wise, I just want to be in the Lord's will, whatever I'm doing. So, but I guess that would be the dream. I love to travel. That's one of the things I really like to do. So, I would love that. I like using my EMT license. It's harder in the truck because I'm the driver, and so I'm not the one sitting back there with the patient while we're in transit, obviously. So I really don't get to form a relationship with the patient very well, and I don't like that. That's not fun for me. Which sounds a little selfish, but I would really like to be in an atmosphere where I can talk to people, get to know who I'm dealing with, I guess. So maybe something like where I'm helping out with someone's house or something in a disaster or whatever. That would be cool.
Is that because you like to provide comfort?
Yeah.
Is that where that
Sure.
desire is coming from?
Yeah, I mean, totally.
Or help the hurting, I guess would be another way to say that.
Yeah, I mean, in the least prideful way possible, I would like to say I really enjoy serving. Not to say that in a, haughty light. It's actually pretty selfish because I enjoy it. There's other great virtues I don't enjoy as well, but serving is one that I really do enjoy. So maybe the Lord will use that somewhere. I just don't know where.
I'm certain He will.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give us the marketing pitch for Williams Works or Eagle Farms.
Okay.
What would you tell a prospective student?
Gosh. Okay. Let me think. From my personal experience, I would say the Eagle Farms specifically, if you don't like to work, probably not the placement for you. But at the same time, I've never been really bored at Eagle. I always have a good time, pretty much. I mean, sometimes it's really hard and we're all quiet and stuff. But I think it's a great atmosphere. The people that I had in my class and everything like that, and the people I know now, we're all just buddies. So I mean, who you work with makes a big deal with how well you like your job, and they made me like my job more. So I think it's a good place to meet friends. And hard work, I mean, like we were talking about earlier, doing hard things builds character. So, and if you like to be outside, which I love to be outside, that's also really fun. You get to be outside a lot. In the summer, you get really tan. That's always a plus. I don't know. There's a lot of great things about the farm. I love Mr. Brad. He's a great boss. So is Miss Angela. Miss Angela is my boss now because I'm at the corner store. But I don't know. I love the whole atmosphere of it. So it'd be hard to pinpoint a sales pitch, especially on the spot.
Yeah, no.
But
I just wanted to take a stab at it.
Those
I
are
thought
the
it was
things,
really good.
Yeah, those are the things I love about Eagle Farms. So,
Kinsman, what's your sales pitch for the Williams Works program?
For Williams Works?
Yeah. I mean, you can get specific about how cool your boss is, but you don't have to.
All right. I'll try to talk good about my boss, but we'll see here.
Good luck.
that guy.
Williams Works. Come here to not only pay for your tuition, but I think there's a lot more because you learn valuable skills, probably at every placement. You learn responsibility. It's another responsibility on top of classes, so you got to learn how to juggle classes and work and, regular life as well. But I think it's a good experience. I think it helps get you ready for the real world. And I've definitely learned a ton of skills. Media, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Good answer.
I mean, ditto. I didn't know I was doing a commercial. I
Yeah,
could have done
commercial.
it more
Oh, do a
commercial
commercial.
style.
And we'll put music in behind it.
Oh,
All right, Kinsman,
no.
fade the music up.
That's embarrassing.
Go ahead. Treasure.
Okay.
Commercial style. Go.
Wait, what's the first word?
Williams.
Williams.
Back
Okay.
to you, Treasure.
Thanks, Bill. At Eagle Farms, we like to have a good time while working hard. That's it.
The best 5 second clip ever.
Work hard and play hard. That's what we say at Eagle Farms. Dun-dun-dun. Then fade out the music.
Just wing it the Williams way.
Just wing it. Yeah, actually. Yeah, I didn't know how to lay pipes and all that kind of stuff till I was on the farm, and I learned.
What is laying pipe?
My freshman year, we had to get pumps for the chickens, water pumps. So we had to hook it up to the main water line, and then we had to put all the, like, glue the pipes, the PVC pipes, like, together underground, and then we had to cover it back up and all that cool stuff. We made sheep houses, which we don't use because we don't have sheep. So, but we did that my freshman year because we thought. So, we do all kinds of crazy stuff out there. I have a lot of skill sets. Landscape team, mowing. Yeah. I used to mow your yard.
You did?
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
Y'all do a great job.
Thank you.
Y'all are fast, reliable.
They're faster
affordable.
now. I wasn't very fast. We had push mowers when I was on it, not 0 turns.
Well, it's good for the summer tan, though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is.
Summer tan, summer workout, all that stuff.
No, it had all built in one, so
yeah.
It was great.
Yep.
And future employers would love to see all those skill sets.
Oh, yeah, your resume is
like...
My resume is stacked just from Williams Works. Like, yeah, another plus.
Mm-hmm.
Another plus. Maybe you can cut all the pluses together
and
make a commercial.
Yep. When y'all hear this later, you're going to be like, wow, he really
helped that.
Manipulated what we said.
They're really good at speaking.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't even say that. I don't know how I did that.
Sounds like I'm smiling through my tongue, too. How did he do that? AI has come a long way.
Wow. Yeah, I know.
It's crazy how much we use AI. Like, y'all aren't allowed to, right? For class stuff?
No, I mean, I use it to, like, help me with questions.
Yeah.
Okay, let me...
Dr. Putman? Dr. Putman?
No. Not in my Christian ministry questions. In Trevor Babcock's class, he said, I'd rather y'all use AI because it's smarter than me. And so if you're having trouble with your grammar homework, obviously don't do it. Like,
use
your
it as a
homework.
tutor.
Yes.
Okay.
Not a
final draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use it as an aid.
Yeah. It's really good at helping, like, understand concepts and stuff.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty scary.
We had a student a few years ago who was afraid to send an email. They didn't know what to say to Dr. Putman. And I go, write down what you need to say, open up ChatGPT, copy it in there, and say, rewrite this email to sound warm-hearted and take any kind of, like, attitude out of it.
Yeah, it's kind of scary how well.
And she's like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I needed to, like, say.
How long has ChatGPT been around?
I think it started 2 years ago.
2 years?
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, like it was like the end of 23 maybe.
Because I feel like I really only started using it once I got here.
Sorry. My bad.
Yeah.
No, no.
That was funny.
Okay.
No, you didn't.
For help.
In the late
there you go. Quotations.
In the late 90s, there's a story of a staff member coming to the vice president for IT and HR and administration, and they said, "Hey, we need a website. What do you think we should use for our URL?" And he's like, "The internet's not going to be around that long. Just use whatever. It does not matter. It's going to be gone soon." And it's like now every employee here lives and breathes and does all their work on the internet and with the computer.
Exceptionally wrong.
Exceptionally wrong. I had that brief thought when ChatGPT came on the scene that like AI is just here for a few weeks. We're going to make some funny jokes on it and then it's going to be behind us. And then I was like, yeah, I'm actually going to try some unique stuff with it and just to see if it's actually helpful or not. And I turned out it's pretty intuitive.
And it's getting better.
And it's getting better. I was not an early adopter, but it seems like the late 23s era was when I started using it. And not many people, I still run people all the time who've never even used it, which is fine.
Yeah.
I just think it's...
I haven't used it till this year. I used it because Dr. Babcock told me to.
Well, when your professor says to do it.
I mean I'm like, okay, well, sure. Yeah. I'll try.
Well, I think it's staying around for a very, very long time.
It probably is.
And
unfortunately.
It'll take over.
Okay. Maybe.
I'm going to watch The Terminator this snow break. What are y'all doing for the snow break?
Kinsman?
I'm going to sled on all the hills that are around here.
There you go.
Dude, I promise you get the right Pam oil on the bottom of a sled and you let that wind take you somewhere right now. You might actually fly.
The wind is atrocious. Yeah. I mean, it is like pelting like little tiny needles with the snow.
Yes.
Mr. Tony always hooks up his canoe to his truck and he will willingly pull us around. It's awesome. So maybe do that, maybe not come out of my room. I don't know.
Okay.
It depends.
Do you have to work at all? Do you have to drive in this?
Not tomorrow. I think it is closed tomorrow. But
The ambulances are closed tomorrow?
oh, well, I don't work ambulance except for like part-time.
Oh, okay.
Because, I mean, you have to do like 12, 24, or 36-hour shifts. So I only get like weekends time to do it. So I'll, like this last weekend I worked at Williams Corner Saturday, and then I worked EMT Sunday.
I'm never riding in an ambulance again.
Oh.
Without asking, like, are you by chance in your 35th hour on the clock? Because I know what it's like to stay up that long, and I'm pretty sure you're not going to be reliable.
Yeah. Well, we have protocols against that. We have energy drinks and coffee too, but
That doesn't help me.
no. Yeah, that's probably not comforting. But
The 30-hour mark.
we have bedrooms at the station. Like everybody has like a bedroom for
So
that
can you
shift.
sleep on the
Yeah.
clock?
Yeah.
So if you get a call, just you
That's
have
what-
like alarms going off?
Yeah,
That's what
like-
firemen do, right?
Yeah.
Like when they have a 24-hour shift or whatever?
That's what we do
Okay.
too. We'll go to bed, and if the tones drop, it goes, "Ew," and he'll say, and 911 will say, you know,
Get up.
the code.
Dispatch to wherever. Over.
1019. Yeah. That's what they say.
It's a 1019.
It's 1019. Fun little
Means
fact.
Go get them.
Go get him. Go get the old man that fell off his bed.
I've also heard that 50% of all firefighters who die on the job
Oh.
die
okay.
because of like a heart attack,
Oh.
because like they can't handle the amount of like stress and work that's related to that particular fire.
I've not heard of that.
And I've also heard, I can't remember what the percentage was, but the majority of what they have to do is related to like to health issues. Nothing like, I mean, obviously there's fires, but the majority of what they respond to is health related issues.
Oh, what firefighters respond
Yep.
to?
Yeah, like first responders to like there's a medical emergency.
Yeah, especially around here, because like I said, it's not a high call area, so you're not getting like constant. It's not Memphis.
What if we changed
So-
that? What if we just started a bunch of fires?
Maybe
just to
we
start?
shouldn't though.
Okay.
Started like 10-car pileups on the road and stuff.
Yeah. Or I was thinking more like arson, but yeah.
Oh, well, you
Oh.
could do that too. Or we could split up, divide and conquer.
Yep.
I would appreciate it if y'all didn't do any of that.
You
but-
heard it
Do
here.
you ever get bored when you're working though?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so we'll help with that.
Okay. Well, it's a really love-hate because you're like, I don't want to be bored, but like, I don't want people to get hurt. So it's just like very conflicting feeling. So
I see the tension there.
yeah,
I get that.
it's a tension, yeah. Because you're also like, as a new EMT, you're like, oh, it would be so cool to work something like this, and then you're like, oh, I don't really want to ask for that or like wish for that, you know?
Yep.
So yeah, it's a weird experience. Okay.
Well, are y'all ready to go see what the snow looks like outside?
Let's
Yes.
do
If
it.
it's awful, let's get the drone and let's go fly it and see if it can handle
If it's
the.
windy, it's gonna be.
We'll
gone.
You
fly
want
it
to wreck
low.
your drone.
We'll fly it low and out of the wind.
Okay.
Every time the drone gets too high, it's like I lose signal and it's like can't return home. Wind is too bad, and it's like glitching. It's like,
Bill's had so many close calls with that thing.
you know, my boss is listening to this, so please, if you want me to keep my drone license, we need to.
Well, the amount of times he's almost lost or destroyed it is quite a few.
Do
Big
you
risk for big
Yeah.
outcomes.
Do you think Maverick became a great pilot
Okay.
by taking it
You're
easy
not-
and safe?
You are not comparing yourself to Maverick right now.
You know those WBU big signs out there?
Yeah.
The first day I was flying, I flew it. I mean, it was going so fast. Right between
Smack
right between the
Oh.
W and the B somehow. I mean, it was a
That's
pure
insane.
miracle I didn't like cause an explosion. That thing had any gasoline in it, it would have like, blown up the whole building probably.
Could you do the like classic Maverick move with the drone, like the upside down?
You can.
Really?
No, I don't know actually.
Okay. Well, that got my
Well,
hopes
because
up
it's
for
a
no reason.
helicopter.
People
So it would
can.
like.
Oh,
But-
it's a helicopter.
Yeah.
I was thinking the 4-prong
Oh no.
dealio. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
I mean, it does have 4 blades.
Yeah. It
But
does
if
have
you
one
went
of those.
upside down, it would.
Yeah, it
It
would
would
spin
pull you
wrong.
down,
yeah.
It would just drop.
like an upside down jetpack.
Yeah.
Ideal if you're weighing in for the biggest loser, but not ideal if you're trying to keep the
I've
drone alive.
always wanted to try one of those water jetpacks. Have y'all seen
no.
those?
Yes.
You haven't?
No, I have no idea what you're talking
What?
about. A water?
Yes. It like
Hooks up to
high
the back of
pressure-
a jet ski, right?
yeah,
The hose
something
or
like
something
that.
like that?
High pressure water, and I mean it just you're flying because the water is like boosting you up in the air.
Okay, I see how
Do
that
it at
works.
the
out.
beach. No,
But you're connected to the water hose, right?
Right.
There's
There's a big
I
hose.
was
a
say, 'cause
tether of some
a backpack
sort.
of water doesn't
Yeah.
seem like it would go very far.
Yeah,
fast.
no, not like it's a lot of pressure.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
they
it
look
looks really
pretty
fun.
sweet though.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, Treasure, thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
You're
thanks for
welcome.
coming
This
in
long
with
format. Be,
such short notice.
be
Yeah.
careful in the snow out there, everybody.
Thank you.
Stay safe, everyone.
Yeah.
Mhm. Go back and listen to all of our previous episodes with all these extra snow days, and give us a 5-star rating
Yes.
and write a review.
Yeah. Where
Say-
can they find your podcast besides all the
WilliamsBU.edu
platforms?
/The Williams Pulse. It's on Apple,
Awesome.
Spotify,
all
Awesome.
your favorite streaming services.
Amazon,
Sweet.
YouTube, iHeartRadio, I
Wow.
Hate Radio, all those places.
Really?
No, I don't know about the last two, but there's a bunch of weird stuff that we're on. Just
Cool.
Google search the Williams Pulse and you can find it. Obviously, if you're listening to it,
I mean, then
you
you've
can,
already found it.
Yeah, you've already found it. But
yeah.
but the
To
reviews,
tell your friends though.
the reviews really help.
Yeah.
Even like writing JK submit. That's it. Like that'd be awesome.
Noted.
All right. Well, thanks, Treasure.
No problem.